Hey, it's Candia Raquel, founder of Centro de Poder, and you are on the Sensual Sessions, the place to be to sense your fire and share your flame. And today we have a very special guest. She's Tamela Hart, and she has a fantastic vlog about being pro-age. Welcome, Tamela. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to share something with a soul that I feel we have the same values.
Yeah, we have the same values and connections. And I saw your videos on Instagram talking about being pro-age and watching you talk and move and do crochet and like really living your life like in a completely say transparent way. Like I feel you so sincerely moving and sincerely expressing that I said like Tamela has to come here. So would you tell us a little bit of your background, your inspiration, what took you to creating this proposition of pro-ageness?
Okay, without going back too far, I I just had coffee. My whole life, I've been a very tactile, kinesthetic, touchy. I have to touch things. I love fabrics and smells and tastes. And so a lot of my life, I've been living through my senses. And I feel like for a lot of it, it was not looked upon very fondly, certainly by my parents. I was it was like I was overly energetic, overly stimulated, too excited about things, and just so much energy about just my senses. And what opened me up to my senses was when I started doing mindfulness meditation at about the age of like in my mid 30s. So I'm 58 now. In my mid 30s, because I was parenting my two children at home and we were homeschooling, and I was not liking who I was. I just didn't like who I was, the conditioning and the just the way I was with my children. I was very impatient, and I felt like I was just always holding back of myself, always holding back my energy, because I was told I was too much. I was too big. There was just too much energy. I felt too much. It was my old partner used to say, you know, you wear your heart on your sleeve like it was a bad thing. And so I started to internalize this, like started to shrink, right? Shrink in myself. And when I found mindfulness, I started to see that in mindfulness, to live through your senses is to be fully human. And then I started to open up to that again. And so just through processes of meditation and being in nature and being more, allowing myself to be more alive, and in realizing that living through my senses was an incredibly rich experience, and it wasn't something to be squashed down in myself. And the more I became alive, like with what you see on my vlog, which is lovely, you see the realness of my energy. I have so much energy, and it's so lovely to be able to express it now. And I am deeply sensual. I love tastes. I love smells of cooking. I love traveling to India, even the foul smells. I loved just and touching things. And all my home is filled with fabrics and textures and colors. And like you, we've discussed, pleasure, sensuality has been corroded. Like the idea has been corroded in our society, and I want to bring back what it is to be fully alive in my senses.
Yes. Bring back what is to be fully alive in your senses. And regarding that, like how does the societal impositions of age come into play? Because especially simply by being a woman, like we tend to feel nuances. We are more attuned at changes, at textures, at smells, and we are told to comply and to fit into certain boxes. Like you should dress this way, You shouldn't be too loud. You shouldn't like run. You shouldn't like go on bicycle. That's for the boys or whatever. And for me, I suffered like three main impositions. One is the weight, like if I am not skinny enough. The other is my body shape. Is my bony frame too big? And the other one is age. I started doing ballet since the age of 3. So by the age of 14, I was already worried about if my shoulders were too wide and if I was fat. And I was already starting to feel old when I was 15 because of the traditionally short-lived careers of ballet dancers. Good dancers live very long careers because their career is their life. And if you have good technique, you can dance until forever. But there's like this like societal frame that is it's ungraspable. It's like a jail that comes out from you and you are constrained within. So I think that a lot of the work on sensuality, on pleasure, on having agency, on your way of being, sensing, and expressing has a lot to do with getting rid with these societal frames, including age. So I want to ask you, how can we break free from the sensual or from the societal cage of ageism? How can we become pro-age?
Oh, such a big question. There's so much in there. As you say, there's so much pressure at all ages for women, and to be a certain way is to be beautiful and to be accepted and to to feel like a belonging too. And I think it can worsen as we age, because not only have we internalized years of what we've been told, if we don't question that, like we hold it and it becomes who we are, these beliefs of, right, I'm too much, I'm too loud, I take up too much space, all these kind of things. And then and we can continue to do that if we believe our thoughts about it, right? And so for me, the first part is just questioning the questioning what we've been conditioned to believe. Oh, is that true? Is it true? And it becomes even more poignant as we age. Around 50, a lot of women start to feel, not only am I not allowed to take up space, but now I'm invisible. Like a lot of women feel this cloak of invisibility, of all of a sudden I've disappeared, I'm not attractive in society, I don't um it's not even about attention as much as just being present as a woman, like a fully, like here.
Yeah.
And I believe that first it's just about confronting, right? It's confronting what society believes in. Is that my belief, and do I want to believe that? And I, at some point quite early on, I chose no, I don't want to believe that anymore. So how do I want to show up as I age? So it's super conscious. I wake up in the morning and I am conscious of how I walk into the world as a 58-year-old. And it's not to be contrived, and it's not for someone else. It's for, how do I want to show up for me today? And I suppose it's a bit of representing my age of pro-age and saying, well, what does that mean? And so pro-age for me means it means accepting where I'm at. You know, I have wrinkly skin. It's changed since I was 50, like radically, because I've always been in the sun in my whole life. I have wrinkles. I've got, the gray hairs. My body's changed quite a lot since being in menopause. And it's, so there's a certain, okay, this is how it is. So what do I want to accept? And what do I want to, I don't call it fight because I don't want to fight my age, but what do I want to work with? So as you know, I work out, and it's not to be 20 again. It's not to do, it's so I can paddleboard, so I can feel good in my body, so I can move how I want to move in my body with the freedom that I want. And so those are all choices to me. But there's a very distinct thing about pro age to me is accepting where I'm at and working, not resolving to it, not giving
Yes.
up on and saying, well, I'm 58 and most 58s do it this way. Well, fuck that. I'm not going to do it that way. Like I'm going to do it the way I want to age, which is with vitality and energy and more of who I am.
Yes, yes, with more of who you are. And that's key because that means taking in the mastery of the experience of the moment that you are. Because for me, like all your feed and your personality and everything, it's eye-catching because what I see is you. I see you. I don't see like someone that is fitting into a template as everyone. And actually this has this pro age mentality of acceptance and choosing the way to live in the moment that you are goes beyond age. Is something that is something that a teenager needs to consciously do, a woman that becomes a mother, a woman that goes through menopause, etc., or a guy that I don't know goes into retirement and life changes. I think that's something very important to do, like consciously decide, first of all, what is the sense of who you are and how do you present? What is your posture, like not only physical, but your posture, because that's how you relate it to your own self. And then what is your posture in the world and how you present yourself into the world. And that is fascinating because that is the personal character, that's the charisma, and that is tremendously magnetic, attractive and seductive, because it's owning yourself and saying, well, this is my DNA, this is my fingerprint, this is my uniqueness, this is my experience of pleasure, my experience of me in this moment in life, and this is my expression. Like this is how I express on the age I'm at. And for me, that gets better with age. Like people becomes more like interestingly magnetic with age, if aging goes along maturity, meaning maturity as taking agency on your way of doing, because you really see a piece of art that has been refined and not like a copy paste template, like, okay, now I have to have the eyelashes as everyone and the nails. Like, I mean, it's perfect. I will have only one big nail and only one eyelash as the clockwork orange. Like the thing is,
Yeah.
like, do what you want, but really do it because it pleases you. It pleases you, not because you want to fit in. Because if you fit into a box, it's like you become an Amazon box. All the boxes are the same, little, big, but they are like generic. And I am a big fan. I'm a big fan of being pro age. It's being pro yourself, pro authenticity. So would you share with us a little, I don't know, an exercise, a habit, a practice, a little something, so we can like take all that we have talked about and make it like a reality in the flesh and in life?
Yeah, I there's a couple of things I do. That one practice I do is I I'm very clear on my core desired feelings or my core values, and I play with about 5 at a time. And so they're, for me, they are things like, and they might not mean anything to someone else, but they are to be connected, to be shiny, to be bright, and to be resilient, say, for example. And so I'll put these 5 on a sticky note, or I write them in lipstick on my mirror. So every single morning when I brush my teeth or put on my mascara, I see these 5 core values, and I see, yeah, it reminds me of who I am at this time, who I want to be, and how I want to go into the world. So that's one practice I do, and it's right on my mirror. I cannot miss it. And even though I know them, I look at them every day because they're right in front of me, and sometimes I change them. The other thing I do is when I meditate in the morning, I'll often ask myself during meditation, or you don't even have to meditate, just out for a walk, or maybe you're sipping your coffee in the sun, and I just go, how do I want to be today? Like, how do I want to be today? What is my intention for today? And so, for example, after our session, I'm going to a volunteer job that I do at what's called WINS, Women in Need Society, and it's a thrift store that helps women get back on their feet. So all the proceeds go to these women, and I love this thrift store. So what do I want to be? And so I'll often go, okay, I want to be connected. I want to connect with people today. That's my goal. Or I want to be shiny. And so I wear, I'm wearing fringes today, or I'm wearing a hat today, and I just want to I want to give her today. And so I go out intentionally with that. Or sometimes it's to be the opposite. Sometimes it's, today I want to be quiet. I want to be introspective. And it's okay to do that too, to be all parts of myself. So it's just bringing an intention to the day, which I do pretty much every day or before a situation, say for with you, I want to be entirely myself. I want to not have to be nervous about it and just let it flow. Yeah. That was my intention. And so if I bring that top of mind, chances are it's going to happen.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Like being very clear about your intention for the day, because then you are connected with yourself, with the expression, and also, the expression and the sensation of yourself. And it made me think that if we don't do that practice of sensing ourselves, of wondering how do I really want to feel, and how do I really want to come to the world, it's like if we don't do that, it's like leaving an empty cup for the society to come and fill it. Like, okay, if you don't know what you want to do with your life, so then follow the known path of everyone, just become another Amazon box. Like, they are all piled up and look very well together, and that's good. There's an alternative. Like, if you want to be even lazy about you, just copy paste everyone. But the thing is, you have this opportunity of living your life authentically to the fullest. And I really love this practice, Tamela. It's going to be very helpful for the sensualist here. So tell us, how can we know more about what you're doing? How can we connect with you?
Okay, I'm a little bit on Facebook, but I'm mostly on Instagram. And my handle on Instagram is The Mature Bohemian with a underscore. And the underscore is accidental because I'm 58 and I didn't know how to remove the underscore. I just had no idea. So, and I post my blogs on there, and my blogs, as you know, are just short. They're 5 minutes or so. I try to keep it because I know attention span's not great these days. And just musings of that somehow relate back to pro-age. And I love style. So I do lots of style posts because it's always been an expression for me since I was 4 years old. I express myself through my style. So that's part of it as well. So it's mostly through Instagram.
Yeah. Go find Tamela at The Mature Bohemian _ and follow her blogs. It's daily blog. It's almost every day.
Well, Yeah, almost every day. It's how it's, you know what, how I operate, Candia, is I operate by inspiration, and
Yeah.
I just inspire and I just like shoot it and I just do it. And as you know, it's off the cuff. There's no notes, there's no nothing. It's absolutely like from the heart, and
Yes.
try to express what I'm feeling. So
Yeah.
yeah, kind of daily.
Daily inspired. I love that. Thank you so much, Tamela, for coming here and
Yeah.
sharing with the Sensualist at the Sensual Sessions. Been such a pleasure. Okay, and
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be with you. I'm so happy doing this work.
thank you. And Sensualist, if you are not already subscribed to the Sensual emails, come to centrodepoder.com and get yourself signed up to get these episodes delivered weekly to your email. And this is all for now. Catch you next time. Until then, remember to take the time to know your fire so you can share the flame.